Well, welcome. Thanks for showing the sign of support for all the nursing students. My name is Sandy Famer, and I'm the coordinator of the Practical Nursing Program for Hutchinson Community College. Just to give you a little background about our program, we run a full-time program, 2 part-time programs from this location, and then we run 2 part-time programs from our Fort Riley location also. So at any point in time, we have about 100 students throughout our programs. Along the back, we have, and up here, we have faculty members, support people, the small army that's going to help your students be successful. But as I told the students today, I started teaching nursing in 1998 at the associate degree program and became the coordinator of this program in 2002. And at the end of that first year, I was really depressed because we lost a lot of students. And it wasn't because they couldn't achieve the academic level that we wanted. It was because of all the outside forces that were beating up on them and preventing them from devoting the time they needed to be successful in our program. So they just dropped and they just left because that's the fastest thing they can do. They just get on the computer and hit 4 or 5 drop buttons and they're done and they're over with. And I know that that's probably not the best long-term solution. It might be the short-term solution, but it's not the long-term solution. So I decided the following year to start the Significant Other Open House, and the students have told me that it's been a blessing. So I've kept on doing it. And we're doing something a little different tonight. In case you have short-term memory and the students feel like you need a refresher course about what I talked about tonight, we are going to try to record this and put it on our YouTube, our private YouTube channel, so they can pull it up so they can have you watch it again. So if they want to have a video YouTube night with you some evening, you may know what's coming. So before we get started, I want you to understand that it's not just our program that is tough. All nursing programs are tough. You guys have been putting up with them going through their general education courses, and nursing courses are a whole different ballgame. So a nursing student from another nursing program wrote a little song about nursing school, so I just want you to listen to that real quick. Is it gonna go? I have to adjust the volume.
Well, I might have to let it do something. Hang on. Hang on, I'll make it big. Stop. There you go. Now let me restart this. As long as I can get it. Don't feel like picking up my phone to leave a message that's alone. Today I swear I'm not doing anything. I wanna pull up the covers and lay in the bed, but I gotta be an issue just when I go to bed. 6:30 a.m. I'm forced out. Getting bored and watching my feet. I'm in isolation. Mercifully, in fact, we are even. Oh, can't you see? Don't you agree that it's not no time for me? Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone just to leave a message at the tone. Today I swear Tomorrow I'll wake up and do the same class when the signs of growth. It's the hardest test of the year. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's just 10 months, but I'm in college degree. Hopefully by then I'll know the EKG. Hard rock feedback and ABC. Oh, can you see it? Don't you agree that it's not more time for me? Say I don't feel like doing it. I just wanna lay in my bed. Feel like picking up my phone and leaving a message at the tone. Say I swear I'm not doing anything. I've got increased ICT. I'm all in study. Yeah, 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 yeah. And all I'm seeing is I'm laughing, being crazy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, see, I don't feel like doing it. I just wanna lay in my bed. Feel like picking up my phone and leaving a message at the phone. Say I swear I'm not doing anything, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
So Debbie Gieselman, our counselor, has a famous saying that she says at every one of these meetings, that the students weren't just sitting around on a couch eating bonbons with nothing to do before they started nursing school. And now we are going to add a whole lot of stuff onto their plate. And they are not going to be able to continue to do everything that you have expected them to do up until this point. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about what their schedule is going to look like, and then I'm going to talk to you about how you can make things better. So first of all, I've already told you we have a full-time program and a part-time program. The students will spend their time in the classroom with lecture, in the simulation lab, in the skills lab, and numerous areas around the state for clinical hours. Our curriculum is based on the Kansas Practical Nursing core curriculum, and that's a positive for them, because any other practical nursing program in the state that has that core curriculum, if something happens 9 months into the program and you have to move like to Topeka, Washburn Area Tech has the same curriculum we have. So the chances of them being able to get in and finish their education at Washburn Area Tech is higher because we follow that. We are also the only practical nursing program in the state of Kansas that is nationally accredited. And that will make transferring into another practical nursing program or an RN program a lot easier than if we were not nationally accredited. And they're going to talk to you a little bit about that come February, because we're going to have the Kansas State Board of Nursing and the Accreditation Commission for Education and Nursing site visitors here for our routine every 8-year visit. It just so happens that this year is the year they're coming, so they're going to get to spend time with them and visit with them. So you may hear stories about that. You need to understand that just graduating from this program does not make them a practical nurse. They have a big national exam that they have to take after graduation, and they have to pass that exam in order to get their license. So don't think that once they cross that stage for graduation and the pinning ceremony, they're done, because they're not. They have to take that national exam. I will tell you guys, so you know, that my tutors will be running tutoring sessions from the day they graduate till the last person takes their test. And if people are not successful on that test, if they come back, my tutors will work with them free of charge until they are successful. So you need to know that if they don't pass it and they say they don't have any help, they're fibbing, because the help is here. We are mandated by the Kansas State Board of Nursing to have one faculty member for every 10 nursing students. So they will never be in a clinical setting or in a lab setting where there is more than 10 students to one faculty member. I have told the students numerous times that this practical nursing program at Hutchinson Community College, I believe, has more resources, more safety nets for the students than any other program in the state, and I will stand behind that. I have been a site visitor for the Kansas State Board of Nursing to other nursing programs. I am a national site visitor for ACEN, and I know from what I see out there that not everybody has on-site nursing tutors for their students. I don't think anybody has a full-time counselor on-site for the nursing students. And I don't know if anybody else, because our integration specialist is new, if any other programs have that, but we put those in place to help the students because we are committed to them being successful. As I said before, they're going to have classroom instruction. All of their exams are going to be done on the computer because the national exam is a computerized test. And there's some anxiety about taking a computerized test. So we want them to get over that anxiety before they finish our program. Simulation and skills lab is used to teach them their skills, have them practice things during the program and before they go out there and do anything to a live human being. They're not going to give their first injection to a live body. They're going to do that for us here with one of our mannequins. Clinical agencies, as I said, can be anywhere in the state that we think that they will get a good learning experience. So what you need to know about that is their car not starting is not an excuse to not be at class. They need to network with their classmates, but right now is the time that if their car hasn't been inspected, the belts and the hoses and the oil and all the fluids and their tires, now's the time that needs to be done. They are going to have to be in clinical sometimes as early as 5:30 in the morning. And unless you want the phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning that my car won't start, come over here and fix it, do some preventative stuff now. Once they graduate, they can work anywhere and everywhere. Long-term care facilities, rehab centers, hospitals, clinics, hospice, home health. My prediction is they're even going to be able to work other places soon because I think that the nursing shortage is going to get so bad that we're not going to be able to put out enough nurses, practical nurses or registered nurses to keep up with the people that are retiring. A lot of nurses put off their retirement when the economy tanked and their 401ks got hit. And as things start improving, they're going to retire. And we're going to have to increase our numbers to keep up with it. But in the meantime, I think that practical nurses are going to be hired about anywhere. Their first semester, which is what they're in now, they are going to be taking their Foundations of Nursing course, their PN orientation course, their Foundations of Nursing clinical. That's 7 credit hours. Research shows that for every credit hour that the students are enrolled in, they need to be putting in twice that amount of time outside of class studying. So if they're in 7 credit hours this semester, that means a minimum of 14 hours outside of here, studying, reading, doing paperwork, doing assignments. Don't forget, at the end of every semester, they're going to have finals you need to cover for them. You need to pamper them. You need to praise them. You need to encourage them. I talked to them today about the importance of being in class. When the weather's like this and it's cold and it's snowy and it's a lot more comfortable to stay in those covers under those warm sheets, they need to get out of bed. They need to come to class. Because yes, they can get their notes from their classmates, but that's not the same as being their A class, listening to what's going on. They will have a couple of spring of days off. Coming up here on the 16th of January is Martin Luther King Day and spring break. If you want to plan some relaxation time for them, will be the 26th through the 31st of March. One thing I want to please caution you about when they're on breaks is don't expect them to work double the amount that you normally do when they're on a break. They have to have some downtime. They have to have some time to spend with you, to spend with the kids, just to rest, just to relax. This is 18 months from start to finish. And if you expect them every time we have a break to work double the number of hours that they normally do, they are not going to make it to the end of the road. They are going to get sick. We're going to have to drag them to the end. They're not going to be successful. They're not going to be learning the best that they can. So please try to avoid that. The summer semester, they'll be taking their Med-Surg Nursing 1 course and their mental health course. That's 6 credit hours, which in a normal semester would be 12 hours of study time. But you have to remember during the summer, everything is condensed into half the amount of time it normally is. So that's 24 hours of study time during the week, during the summertime. They will have off for a few days around July 4th. Then the next fall, they'll have gerontology nursing, maternal child, med-surg nursing 1 clinical, 7 credit hours, again, 14 hours of study time. On fall breaks, try to plan something fun, spend some quality time. If you yourself can take some time off work to spend with them, they would appreciate that. Again, don't expect them to work extra hours. Don't expect them, if they're the ones that always have Christmas or Thanksgiving at their house, please somebody else take it over this year. If you expect them to show up on Christmas Day with a gift or a gift exchange, I would encourage you to go buy the gift and wrap it up, put it under the tree, because they're probably not even going to feel like doing that. Tell them they can show up in their sweats. They don't have to bring anything. They don't have to cook anything. All they want is to spend time with you, because they're going to be feeling guilty about all the time they miss while they're in nursing school, but they do not want to have to be in charge of something. They'll have Labor Day off, fall break in October, Thanksgiving break, winter break in December. The next spring, they'll have their Med-Surg Nursing 2, their maternal child nursing clinical and pharmacology, 8 credit hours, 16 hours of study time per week. Again, don't forget about finals. They're going to be very stressed the last 3 or so weeks of the program. They're starting to realize that national exam is coming up, and they're questioning whether they have done everything that they could do to be ready for that exam. So you need to praise them, plan ahead, remind them how important they are to you, remind them how proud you are that they've accomplished this goal. That semester, again, they'll have Martin Luther King Day, spring break, and Memorial Day off. In their final semester, they'll have a PN rule development class in their Med-Surg 2 clinical course. That's 5 credit hours. That's 10 hours of study time. But remember, summertime, so we're going to double that up to 20 hours because everything's condensed. And they're graduating this semester, so now they're going to start studying for their national exam. So that's going to be extra study time on top of that. The national exam has to be passed for them to be licensed as a practical nurse. They need to study approximately 2 to 4 hours per day from the time they graduate till the time they take the exam. We advise them to attend study sessions that will be here at the program, because what we see is people say they're going to study, but they don't study unless they're here being directed by us. Research shows that the sooner they take their exam after graduation, the more successful they are on it. So if they're coming to you and saying, oh, I'm going to put off taking my exam until September, you need to say, no, Mrs. Paymer said, you need to take it the first week in August. They may say that they need the extra time to study, but they're not going to study. So just tell them to take it and get it done. Some things to do to make the transition smoother. This has to be a team effort. You need to know they're doing this to benefit everyone for the next 18 months. They're going to have to make themselves number one. And that's probably a lot different than they have been in your life. So we have to be on the top of their food chain for them to be successful. They can't do this without your love and support. So it's important for you to remind them of that. Their schedule is going to be different. Like I said, now's the time that we need to all be sitting down. You need to look at their week very realistically, what they do every week, and figure out what can we take off of their plate. You know, for instance, if their classes are here and they live in Wichita, and Wichita closes the schools down because of the snow, but it's not snowing here in McPherson, it's not snowing in Hutch, so the president of the college does not cancel school for us. Who is going to go get their kids? Who is going to watch their kids until they get home? They can't be leaving all the time to do that. They need to have babysitters, backup babysitters, and backup babysitters lined up now. I understand if your kid's really sick, they want to be home with them. But there's some daycare providers that won't watch them if they have a runny nose. And if every time their child has a runny nose, they have to miss school, they're not going to be successful. If you are used to eating really healthy, and they're the ones that cook those meals for you all the time, then maybe you should enroll in some cooking classes, because you're going to be lucky if you don't live on ramen noodles or McDonald's for the next 18 months. And you're laughing, but I'm being honest with the truth. If there are parents in the room, moms, the best thing that you can do for them gifts is if you are making a casserole for you at home, or something that you could easily make two of for you at home for dinner, even if they don't want it for that night, if you can take it over to them and put it in their freezer, so when they get home some evening and they're sick of pizza and they're sick of McDonald's, but they've got a test tomorrow, so they don't have time to cook dinner, they can remember, Mom put that in the freezer, we can warm that up. That would be very beneficial. All you kids in here, raise your hands. Little kids, raise your hands. How many of you are going to school right now? Are you in preschool or grade school or higher? All right, listen to me. Repeat after me. Mrs. Payburn, say it, I can't hear you.
Mrs. Payburn
Says,
says,
you have to do your homework with me.
you have to do your homework.
Okay? You need to remember that. And every time you come home from school and you have to do your homework, you tell your mom or dad, whoever is the nursing student, that they need to sit down on the table and do their homework with you. Because I promise you, every night they're going to have homework. Okay? Just because we're making them put our program at the top of the ladder for the next 18 months doesn't mean that their priorities have changed. They still love you. They still care for you. They still want to be there for you. But this program is not cheap. The whole program, by the time it's all done, is around $7,000, I think. They don't want to waste that money. They don't want to let you down. So it is important for them to do the best they can do. And I drew a diagram on the board today where I showed them that every class builds on top of each other. So they have to be present and they have to be part of every class and do the best they possibly can, or they're going to be lost the whole rest of the program. Nothing's going to replace you permanently in their life, but for a while, the program's going to have to be on the top. If they are happier, they'll be able to offer more of themselves, and if they can't offer it now, I promise you, once they graduate and they get their license, they will offer more of themselves at that time, and they will pay you back in any way that they can. But right now, they just can't focus on that. Make real-time changes. You need to plan ahead. Please don't expect them to accommodate you at the last minute, but I do need you to accommodate them at the last minute. If they call you and say, Johnny is sick, but I really feel like I need to be to class today, can you take Johnny for the day? Please try to accommodate them if you can. Pay attention to their schedule, their school schedule, their work schedule, their family schedule, their community schedule. Ask them the questions. Right now is the time. What can you do? What can you not do? Is there something I can help you with? Please don't make them feel guilty. If you make them feel guilty, they're going to try to overextend themselves, and then they're just not going to be successful here. They're not going to be successful at home, and it's just going to be a mess. Allow them to ask for help. A real team consists of people with different strengths playing different positions. When you look at a football team, a baseball team, everybody has their strengths, and you need to figure out right now who has what strengths and who's going to do what to keep this unit together for the next 18 months. Help them with things that they normally handle. Who's going to help with carpooling of the kids? Who's going to help get the kids ready for school or for bed? Who's going to handle dinner? If you are one of those people that has to have your house spotless all the time, and it's been the student that's been doing that for you, I'm going to tell you right now, you better ask them where the vacuum is. You better ask them where the dusting stuff is. You better ask them how to load a dishwasher if you don't know how, because it's not going to happen. Even my faculty will tell you, the only time they probably get to clean their houses is on breaks. And if we can't do it, the students aren't going to get to it either. Laundry. If you only own 7 pairs of underwear and you want clean underwear for the next week, then I am serious when I say if you don't know how to do the laundry, it's time you learn how to do the laundry. Paying bills. If they are the ones that are always responsible for paying the bills, I would strongly encourage you to delegate that to somebody else for the next 18 months before you wake up without any lights or without any water. And it's not because they did it on purpose, it's just that they forgot. So think about those things. Join them, study together, like I told the kids. If you are a husband, a wife, a significant other, and you work and you're not going to school, if there's any work that you can bring home in the evenings and sit at the kitchen table and do it while they're doing their homework, it sounds really silly, but they're going to feel like they spent time with you just because you were at the table there with them instead of sitting in the recliner watching TV. Allow them to say no. They're going to have to say no to things that interfere with their studies. I've had numerous students in my office, and I'm sure Debbie has too, crying because they were the soccer mom. They went to every soccer meet of their kids, and now they just don't know how they're going to fit that into their schedule. And my response to them is, Johnny's not going to remember you missing 1 or 2 games. What Johnny's going to remember of this last 18 months is that's the year that Mom went to school with me, and we did it together. That's what's going to be important. Accept the new person. I'm going to tell you right now that if they are this meek little person that never stands up for themselves, that never stands up to you, that never voices their opinion, that's not going to be the person they are in 18 months. And I'm not doing that because I want to cause you problems, but a nurse's #1 responsibility is to be a patient advocate. And they have to know how to stand up for people's rights. And they can't stand up for other people's rights if they can't stand up for their own rights. So expect them to change. They're going to become more confident. They will develop a higher self-esteem. The thing that I cherish about this program is many students enter this program thinking they could never be a nurse. And somehow, some way, with the army of people we have around them and with your support, they do it. And it's just the stepping stone. Then they move up the ladder and achieve things that they never did. I'm going to call out 2 of my folks standing. Well, actually, I got 3 of them now. 3 people that were former students of mine. Raise your hand. And 2 of them now have their master's degree, and 1 of them is working on their master's degree. So, you know, this is just a baby step, but they can go further than you'd ever imagine by just spending these 18 months with us and letting us prove to them that they can do it. They can only do it with your help. If I could send these ladies out and have ladies and gentlemen to go live in your homes, the students' homes, for the next 18 months, we could probably guarantee the success. But because we cannot be in their outside world, I can't do that. I have told you that I guarantee that if they want it, and if you support them, they can be successful in this program. But what happens outside these walls, I cannot control. That's in your control, and that's in their control. So, I have one more video I'm going to show you real quick, and then I'll open it up for questions. There's 2 little twins. You just have to click on the picture. There's 2 little twins in this video.
Here? Oh, look at you.
And the one on the right is going to be who I classify as the student. I don't want you to be this one.
You ready?
Yep.
It's like a team meeting.
All the moms are sitting there. I just don't want him to pinch his finger in the door.
Look at that one looking back innocent. Mm-hmm.
Not that.
That's pretty cute.
We are going to push them to open that door every single day. And we just can't have you guys slamming it shut. So I am begging, I am pleading for you to do everything you can to help them be successful. If you need extra pointers on how to be successful, you can contact myself or you can contact Debbie Gieselman. The one thing I do need to tell you, though, is just like there's HIPAA laws that prevent people from talking about our health information to somebody else, there's FERPA regulations that prevent us from talking about the student's academics. So I don't care if you're footing the entire bill for their program. You cannot call me up on the phone and say, I want to know if Sarah was in class this last week. I say, I don't know, talk to Sarah. Because I cannot give you that information. So don't try to call me or any of my faculty and talk about that. If you want to talk to us in that manner, then the student needs to come with you. There's all kinds of forms you have to fill out. You have to talk to our records department and get permission. But if you just want to call me up and say, I really can see Sarah stressed right now, give me some pointers. What can I do to help her out? I'll be happy to share things like that for you. Now, kids, I gave you permission to talk to them about doing their homework, but I'm going to give them permission before next week to sit you down and talk about some chores that you're going to do for the next 18 months. Okay? Because they're going to need some help. If you want to be able to find your bedroom by the end of the 18 months, probably need to figure out how you're going to keep that clean for the next 18 months. Or you might not see your bed. So, does anybody have questions for me?